Let's get real about relationships. Thursday throwback. Do it our way. Everything is gonna be alright. You think it won't? We step in the night. I'm glad that you're here, and I'ma try to do my best this year. Yo, we are 5 months in and almost a half. Let's do the thing. The math, is adding up to be great. I'm glad that y'all here. We gonna be straight. Nobody can take what we have away because we dealing with the knowledge and wisdom today. Y'all know the time. Y'all know that I'm son. Y'all know the rhyme. V to B, checking on in. It's always a good thing to see you, my friend. T carry right morning, noon, and night. Always glad to have my peoples going in your sight. Y'all know how we do. Yeah, DG crew. Yeah, everything is gonna go right now. I'm about to be right down like a submarine. Y'all know the deal. I'm about to tell y'all how to feel. Yo, tonight we gotta have a conversation. This thing is gonna bring a little frustration. Rank in your lovers, yo, not just his brothers. Everything is gonna be alright undercover. Or will it? Is this we spill it? Will we really tell it? Yo, I'ma spell it out for everybody who is going down. Let me put this beat around. All right, y'all. Like button, y'all. What? What's up, y'all? What's going on? Let's get it popping, man. Let's make it a little bit funky, a little bit funky. Little bit, little bit. Little bit, little bit. Hold on. Let me. I dropped my sticks. Hold on, hold on. All right. Drop my joint. All right. We're going to get it poppin'. Yo, what's up, y'all? Urban Therapy with Sun752. And this your daily. It's the daily go-get-amism show. You think it ain't when it is. You think it won't when it is. We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing. Taking all fast lane, no coasting. And everything is gonna be all right. We talk about ranking. Your lovers tonight. Ranking. Your lovers tonight. Ranking. Your lovers tonight. It won't get all really sinister. I'm just here to try to administer a new way of thinking, a new pattern of thought. And I thought I would do this. The farm got bought. Yo, the money came out. It starts stacking. We gonna do this thing for real, no acting. You don't have to take no lessons. The blessings abound. I'm gonna always be around and I'm always down like I have been going to China. Remember how we used to be like, go down to China? Yo, it's Throwback Thursday, my dude. Yeah, it's Throwback Thursday, my dude. Yeah, Throwback Thursday. Y'all know how we do, and everything is going to be all right when I'm doing it to you. Yeah, let's rank them, baby. Yeah, God, let's thank them, baby. So that's how it's going down, man. Let me get the hardware out of the way and let's get this thing started. Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday. And you know. So let me explain a couple of things to y'all. Because I know that this title may have y'all thinking in a certain type of way. What up, Cheryl Halsey? How you feeling, ma? Mia Cunningham, what's good? Maritza Allberg, thanks for coming on through, y'all. Appreciate it. So let me explain the essence of this title. When we talk about ranking your ex-lovers, we're not necessarily talking about like ranking them as far as their sexual performance is concerned, or how much money they made, or how well they treated you. But then again, we are talking about the same things. You may find yourself in an emotional situation that makes you think either fondly upon a previous situation, or may make you think like, yo, this is the greatest thing that has happened to me so far. I can't believe how much I put up with before that was really unfavorable, but now I got this thing in the smash. This is where I wanna be. You know what I'm talking about. Shout out to my man Donnell Jones. I Heart Oakland. What's going on, my dude? So yeah, you can be in a situation where you can rank your ex-lovers, and hopefully they're not looking at the show. So, you know what I mean? If you gotta hurt their feelings, you don't have to hurt their feelings. Plus, if you're not participating in the chat, you can just think of this on your own. If y'all notice the poll question, the poll question is, let me see, hold on. Make sure I got it going on. Would you ever tell a current love that they weren't the best that you have ever had? Would you ever tell a current love that they weren't the best that you've ever had? Now, only reason that that's important is because you may be with somebody that's insecure that really wants to know how they rank. I know that, ladies, you probably have been with somebody in your dating history who asked you Like, did he have the biggest dick that you ever dealt with? Some of y'all may have told him the truth, and some of y'all may have straight up lied. Now, I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't ask questions that you don't want the answers to, or that you may fear. You may fear the answer, like, well, was I? Was I? This is what I do to get you in the mood. But it ain't work. It don't be working. It don't be working. It don't be working. When we do it, it be hurting. And what? Hey, it is what it is. And it's not just a male thing either. There are plenty of women out there. The female ego is just as out of control as the males is. Same flexing, what's good? What's going on, my dude? Good to see you. Always good to see you. Always good to see my people. Seeing flexing. What's up, y'all? So this is what we talking about tonight. So I didn't want to make this John, I didn't want to make this topic a toxic type of topic. So I'm gonna do my best with it. Maybe y'all help me out a little bit. Maybe you won't. But this is how it's going down. Ranking your ex-lovers. Ex-love rankings. Ex-lover rankings. Ex-lover rankings. Let me ask y'all something out the gate. Do you think that it could be wrong to rank your ex-loves? Like, the reason I'm gonna tell you like is because it could be simple. I've met a lot of women that like to brag that I can count every man that I've been with on one hand. Every man that I've been with on one hand. All right, so if you can count every man that you've been with on one hand, and I've heard some say, and I might have a couple of fingers left. I'm like, what do you mean you might? Either you do or you don't. But okay, your business is your business, no judgment zone. But if you can count every love that you've ever had or every man that you've been with on one hand, is that a choice you made for yourself, or is that a choice that you made for others? Is that like bragging rights for you? But I figure if that is bragging rights for you, then you probably don't have any qualms, any problems bragging about, what the ranking is. But at the same time, you may feel like if you couldn't count every man that you've been with on one hand, then ranking them might make you feel like you a hoe or something. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because I feel like if you can rank other things that you may have run the score up with, like if you can rank the number of concerts that you've been to, from the best to the worst, and which ones were good or whatever, top 5 or whatever, this, that, and the third. Why wouldn't you be able to rank something as personal as who you have been with? Brad Marchand's son? Brad Marchand's son? He says, are you the Prime Minister of Canada? No, but I do appreciate how the Prime Minister of Canada fucked Donald Trump up the other day. Yo, did you see that shit? Yo, Donald Trump was on camera with the Prime Minister of Canada. And Donald Trump is up there talking all this shit like, we barely do any trade with Canada. You know what I mean? And Canada needs to be the 51st state of the United States. You know what I mean? We got the best weapons. We're going to hold it down for you. We're going to make sure that everything is secure. Everything is going to be good. Then, and the Prime Minister of Canada just let Donald Trump go ahead and get his shit off. And then he started telling the truth. He said, nah, actually, the United States is Canada's biggest trading partner. Nobody does more business with Canada, with the United States as Canada does. Nobody, not China, not anybody. And the way he did it was just so calm. Because he threw Donald Trump right under the bus with facts. With facts. And Donald Trump, all he could do is stand there, sit there like, well, he sure ain't no JD Vance. I don't know. That shit was disgusting. That shit was disgusting. That shit had me dying. Seeing Flexen says Trump 2025. Man, he's a bum. He's a bum. But he got his lunch. He got his lunch ate. He got his lunch ate by the Prime Minister of Canada the other day. I was like, well, why don't you just stop lying, dude? How about that? Stop lying. Stop lying all the motherfucking time. Yo, you got hold on, fuck that shit. Now you got it. Y'all, if y'all didn't see it, y'all about to see it now. You about to see it now. Hold on. We gonna get this footage up. This shit was pro. The Prime Minister of Canada owning Donald Trump.
The Prime Minister of Canada owning Donald Trump.
Oh shit. Oh damn. I need a shorter. All right, hold on. Okay. Hold on, this is a good one.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace. You visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale.
Nah, that was too short.
For sale, ever. But
okay, wait a minute. Okay.
Canada and the United States. Would you like to see your first video?
Hold on.
I would love that. Look, I have a lot of respect for this man, and I watched him come up in a sense through the ranks when he wasn't given much of a chance, and he ran a really great campaign. He did a really great debate. I think that debate was very helpful. I was going to raise my hand. I don't know if that's good or bad. I shouldn't say that. That might hurt you. But no, he ran a really great election, I thought. And yeah, something could happen. Something could happen. Yeah, please.
What's the top concession you want out of Canada? The top concession you want out of Canada?
Concession?
Yes.
Friendship.
That's not a concession.
No, we're going to be friends with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada. My parents had relatives that lived in Canada, my mother in particular. And no, I love Canada. I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, how good, the great one. You happen to have a very, very good hockey player right here on the Capitals, who I have a lot of respect. He is a big, tough cookie, too. Just broke the record. And he's a great guy. And, we had the team here, and I got to know a lot of the players. But now Canada is a very special place. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, I'd like to get your response to this too. Mr. President, you have said that Canada should become the 51st state.
No. Well, I still believe that, but it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person. But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now. Buckingham Palace. You visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale. Won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. We have done that in the past, and part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
And they have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation because Mark knew, they were low and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
That's not really the part that I wanted. I wanted to talk about the part where he said that he doesn't really deal that much with the United States doesn't deal that much with Canada. And, they don't deal with that much trade. And the boy was like, the fuck are you talking about? Like we do this many billions of, you don't go ahead with that dumb sound and shit. Anyway, okay. I wanted the part where he told him, hold on. Not he told him that it would never be to sale. I mean, that Canada would never be for sale. He said, never say never. Like, the fuck is wrong with you? You disrespectful bastard. Can't stand this motherfucker. You disrespectful bastard. Like, yo, you don't go away with that bullshit. All right. But that's that. What's going on? My man Troy Diesel is in the house. What's good? How you feeling, my dude? Good to see you. Long dong dads along. Long dong dads along. What's good? How y'all feeling, man? Ranking ex-lover rankings. Would you do it? Have you done it? Listen, for all the dudes out there, you're not going to tell me that you never ranked your girlfriends from whether you're talking about the physical or whether you're talking about their looks or whether you're talking about their treatment. And you know how I know that y'all have all done it? Because every man has measured his dick. Every single man has got a ruler and measured his dick. And a lot of y'all cheated. Tried to push the ruler way back on your against your pelvis. Like, yo, I'm gonna get me an extra inch, half an inch, whatever I can spare. You might have grabbed it by the head and stretched this shit if you wasn't hard. You know what I mean? Shit like that. You ain't gonna tell me that you didn't measure your dick, but you didn't, that you measured your dick, but you didn't measure your treatment coming from all the women that you've been with or any other women that you've been with. You ain't gonna tell me that. You may have been with somebody that was really pretty, but either didn't have good hygiene or something like that, or somebody that was just all right looking, but the twat was like twat 10, looks 3, shit like that. And keeping it amongst yourself is probably never a problem. Who gonna know? But the question is, would you ever share that? Would there be a reason for you to share that with your current love or whatever? Now, some people are in relationships, or they are just so toxic that they will torch all confidence that they have in a relationship by saying something like, well, my ex used to do all of this. You don't do none of that. I've seen people do that. I've seen people do that. It's one of those things. And another thing is, what if you are a public figure, a high profile type of person? Like look at J-Lo. Think about somebody like J-Lo, somebody like Common, because Common been with any black girl you think is pretty or has a nice body or whatever. It seemed like Common been with him. So when a woman gets with Common, if the relationships are real or whatever, because a lot of this Hollywood shit is just Hollywood shit. But think about it. You're probably wondering if Common is ranking them. I've seen Common on talk shows, and they actually asked him. They asked him who was the craziest love that you've been with, but they asked him between Erykah Badu and Serena Williams and I think somebody else that he had been with or whatever. And I think he said Erykah Badu, like, yeah, Erykah the most crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, she, what I'm saying? Yeah, like Erykah Badu. That bad dude. What up, Josh Larson? Says, he says, can you do a shout out to my mom, Christine Western Chandler? It's her birthday today, and she is 64. That's what's up. Well, happy birthday, Mom. That's good. Happy birthday, Taurus. Good looking. And thanks for coming through the show. I had to read your comment before I read it out loud, because a lot of times people will come on here and they will ask me to read something into the like, can you give a birthday shout out to my friend Mike Hunt? Mike Hunt? Can you give a shout out to Mike Hunt? So that was, I had to read. I'm like, Christine Western Chandler. Like, that can't be wrong, right? I'm wrong, right? Christine Western Chandler. We good? We good? All right. Shout out to your mom. Oakland says, I met a bitch that said, don't believe in wasting and washing hands. She said, I don't believe in washing hands? Wow. Oakland says, I like Sexy Red. All right. I've seen Sexy Red without all of the red and all of the makeup. She's actually kind of cute. Take away all that old crazy shit. Artifacts, what's good? What's good, man? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. Troy told myself, Oakland, you like STD Red? Good luck with that, Mr. There's no proof that she has any STDs. Is there? Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. Mia Cunningham says, I think that most people wish they could take pieces from ex-loves and put that into one person. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad that you said that, Miss Cunningham, because check this out. What if you were in a situation where you lost the ex-love? Like where your spouse or somebody that you was going with, what if they died? Whether they got sick or whether they, died suddenly, tragically in an accident or something like that. I know a person. I was dealing with a woman one time where the father of her kids, the father of her children, was killed. He was killed. And she always, from that point, considered him to be the love of her life. Now, you have to consider that when you are actively with somebody and they pass on you, you know, even if y'all weren't always A-OK and on great terms or whatever, you know how it is when you love somebody and you lose somebody. So you may think like we would have been, you know, like that person was the best thing for me, even if they weren't really at that time. But she held on to him being the love of her life, and she would express that. And I was thinking to myself, like, I wasn't offended by that because, I mean, you know, he probably was her first love. Was he her best love? I don't know. But she said she referred to him as the love of her life. He's not a threat. He's not here anymore, unfortunately and tragically for her children. But, you know, I could see her having problems in the future if she expressed that to another man who's not trying to hear that shit. You know, have any of y'all ever been in a situation, and this is a serious situation, have you ever been in a situation where you lost an ex, where an ex of yours passed away? Now, y'all weren't together anymore, but y'all could have still been on good terms. Maybe y'all checked in with each other, whatever. You know, even if y'all didn't meet, even if y'all weren't actively engaged with each other anymore or involved with each other, it doesn't mean that you don't still have feelings for each other. They just may have been feelings that y'all were able to, you know, put to the side and move on with other people. But imagine you getting word of an ex's passing and you feeling bad about it. Maybe you want to go to the funeral. Imagine you dealing with somebody who doesn't respect that. You dealing with somebody who's like, man, fuck them. What? I mean, what was y'all still together? Would you still love him or love her or whatever the case is? And, you know, here it is. You lost somebody that you considered to be a friend. You know what I mean? Not just, this is somebody that you was with. And losing a love, a current love, or even an ex, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be sad. It's not that you may have known their family and all of that, so you understand the impact that their passing may have had. And it has an impact on you. So imagine dealing with somebody that's like, man, fuck him or fuck her. You know what I mean? Maybe you should get in the casket with her. Totally insensitive. Totally insensitive. Shit happens though. That shit happens. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. What we got? All right. Turbo 2.0 says, I'm getting ripped tonight. RIP. That tell Westside? I don't know. Adam 131 says, would you like to know how many people your girl been with? Would you believe her if she said just one before you? Because unless she was a virgin, you don't know how many people she been with. Yeah. No, I don't want to know how many people that anybody has been with. And I think, and honestly, I would never ask a woman that no shit like that. And if she was smart, she wouldn't volunteer that information. Like what? Hopefully, whoever she been with, she was able to wash it off. Hopefully, she didn't have to antibody or antibiotic them out of her system. If she could wash them off, then I'm all right. I mean, because you know when you're dealing with a hoe, and you know when you're dealing with somebody who hasn't had very much experience at all. But no, I don't do that body count shit. I'm done. I ain't never been interested in that. No, don't tell me your body count. We're not swapping them kind of stories. Not me. I'm good. Mia says that would sting a bit to hear, especially if I'm really feeling the person. You might feel like you were always in the shadow, and that's a normal way to feel. But that's not to say that they always push that envelope. You know what I'm saying? But they may have foolishly expressed that as some, yeah, that was the love of my life. That was my first love and blah, 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 blah. You know what it is. But what is living in somebody's shadow anyway? Exactly what is that? Because you don't really have to live up to anybody else's standards. You have to set your own. Now, it could be just me who thinks that way, but that is the way I think. I'm not going to be following up anybody else. I'm going to set my own mark. I've always thought that way. So, I know I've had exes ask me for pictures of exes. I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, look, we fuck out of here with that. We not doing that. We not. Maybe I'm just built different, but I'm not getting into that. I don't really give a fuck who you've been with. For me, I'm like, watch what I do. Because this is going to be the standard right here. Whatever happened before, if you really wanted to be there, then you would be there. While you right here with me, watch what we do. We going to do some new shit, some good shit, some different shit, some monumental shit. Now, if that shit measures up to what we doing now, then that's where you should be. Simple as that. That's where you should be. And the first opportunity you have to go be back with that, you should. Marissa says, this show is something. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. That's why I love it so much. Ah, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Troy said, hopefully she didn't catch that sexy red. You wildin'. Kim's Wims, what's good? Good to see you. But yeah, all right. Ex-lover rankings. All right, so, now that we have 22 votes on the poll question, let's have a look at that. Let's take a look at the poll. Would you ever tell a current love that they weren't the best that you ever had? Would you ever tell them, like, sex with you is all right, but it ain't nothing like, it ain't nothing like a whoop. It ain't nothing like a All right, so 22% says yes. If they're not, they're not. Damn. All right, cool. 45% says no. What good can come of that? 9% says depends on if they got on my nerves. Depends. Honestly, I expected that to be a little bit higher. We'll see as the night goes on. And 22% says I would never go there, period. I think that more so describes me. I would never go there. I would not. We not gonna comparing. If I'm going to compare anything, it's going to be up here and it's not leaving. It's certainly, you're not, listen, you probably are dealing with insecurity out the gate. Do you want to be blamed for adding to that insecurity? Because, women be quick to tell you, you are fucking with my self-esteem. You be making me feel like I'm not enough for you. They quick to say that shit. You gonna pour gasoline on that fire? That's what you want to do? I don't know, son. Let me see. Hold on, Troy. I'm gonna be with you in just a second. just a second. Kim's Williams says, I would only tell the current where they are if they ask. Don't ask what you don't want to know. So basically, okay. Since you asked, I'm going to deliver. You ask, I'm answering, I'm delivering. I don't know if you're going to like this, but I mean, they could get lucky and be the best. Could happen. They could get lucky and be the best. I mean, during in the commission of something, you might tell somebody that they the best anyway. I'm sure plenty of y'all have heard, I ain't never been no pussy like this. Oh my God. This must be heaven. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. And, plenty of dudes. I mean, like, yo, you be doing it to me like nobody do. You must got porn star in your blood. This shit is so good. It's so good. You my number one and my number one. Let's see. DW says, my past relationships have nothing to do with my present relationships because I don't want to hear about theirs. I agree with that. I agree. Repent of religious pride, says, turn to Jesus Christ. All right, cool. Kim Williams says, I would try my best to avoid it, but if they are persistent, it will be what it will be. He said it was stupid to ask. I got my man Troy Diesel on the line. Hey, yo.
What's going on, man?
Yo.
This motherfucker.
Baby.
I don't want to lose you, baby. No.
I'm just saying. Plenty of women have heard, like,
You got to hit the main part. If I lose you, I lose my whole world. Idiot, what's wrong with you?
I'm saying.
Bro, if you want to burn down the house, then just go ahead and say something about that. Just burn the house down. Just go ahead.
Hey.
Matter of fact, leave the gas on and walk out the house. So when she come in and y'all both in there, she can just turn the gas on, just blow the whole house up. Because that's pretty much what you just did.
All I know is this. I know for a fact that some dudes have pushed the envelope. They wanted to know. They wanted to know.
So Pepper said, go ahead. Push it.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead. No. One thing I always say is that what's in the past is in the past.
Oh shit. Hold on.
In the past is in the past.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
You have a call from.
All right, go ahead, Troy.
What's in the past is in the past. You do not rethink, rekindle. Now, let me just break this down. When you do get into another relationship and that relationship lasts long, mentally, only in your thoughts or when you with your bull, you start talking about past relationships. Like, I remember back then. Because you talking to people that are single and you living through them vicariously. But other than that, you never, ever. That's a citizen.
Okay, but even if you never share it with your current love, and I don't think that you should, even in your own mind, what if you are in a situation where the person that you're with currently ranks low?
You still don't do that.
Forget about that. Listen, this show is not about sharing with your.
Well, listen. Let me just say this. If she ranks low, then that's to be if that's in the beginning of a relationship and she ranks low like that, then maybe y'all need to have a discussion on how to push that ranking up. There's communication on how to fix that relationship, not so much as You know, there's nothing wrong. You might always have a thought in your head about, you know, especially if you and that person that was in your past could have fixed that. It was y'all broke up over something stupid and it could have been fixed, but you made the decision. You and her made the decision to end that relationship. But when you're in a new relationship, you move on to that, and if that other person is not up to par to your old relationship, you're not even supposed to be comparing them. You know, but even if you make that comparison, let's have a conversation. What can we do to spice this relationship up? Whether it's sexually, whether it's, you know, going on trips, whether it's, and then you talk about financially, all this stuff has to come in one thing to keep that right there.
Okay, let's all right. Before we continue this conversation, let's get one thing out of the way. This is for you personally. This ranking, this is for you personally. It's not for you to go run into your woman or run into your man to tell them that they not doing what your ex did. But you can still rank them in your own mind and whatever, and you can.
I mean, what you also see us being men, we always have a rank, you know. We always, and women do the same thing. We're not going to say they don't.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
You know, we always backslide mentally to something from the past.
I'm of the belief that both sexes do it. Okay, yeah. So what are you doing with the rankings that you have? You know what I mean? So you could be ranking something that you can't change. Like, all right, so if you ranking like prettiest to, you know, like ranking the prettiest women that you ever been with. You know what I mean? Like that don't have nothing to do with spicing nothing up. Yeah. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know, you might not be as pretty as my ex. I don't give a fuck. I'm with you though. You know what I mean? I'm not with my ex. So, but in the ranking, you might not be number 1. You might be number 4. You might be number 6. But the number 1 through 5 may not have treated me like you, number 6.
You know, everybody can't be the Eagles. Sometimes you're going to be the Cowboys at the bottom of the division sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be that.
It's still a ranking. You understand what I mean? There? It's still a ranking. So, you know, that, like I said, this is more of a personal nature than, you know, I'm not going to do no show with no toxic shit where you just run back to your wife or your girl or your man or your husband and tell them, well, yeah, you know, I was watching this show and, you know, I think there's some things we need to talk about. The fuck out of here.
That's some Gilligan shit right there. You a tough, you do that.
Just saying. But in your mind, and for this show, we can talk about it. We can have that conversation.
Your thoughts is always going to be your thoughts, man. And you always going, there's parts in relationships, not just one particular, but there's parts in relationships that you be like, damn, I remember this, or I remember that. And you don't say it out loud. You just think about it, like, damn. I remember, can you move?
I'll tell you one thing. Even though you can get into a dangerous relationship with, like a woman can get in a dangerous relationship with, let's say, if she was dealing with hustlers, drug dealers or something like that. But one thing that her non-drug dealing loves will have to deal with is, in her mind, she's used to dealing with men who about that cash. So if you ain't a hustler in no kind of way, whether it's through jobs, businesses, you know what I mean, getting out there busting your ass extra hours or whatever, you got to deal with the fact that your woman is she looking at you in a certain kind of way. Like I'm you know, she's used to men that go out there and get that paper, whether they got to do it by illegal means or legal means. She's used to men that are not just able to provide, but they go out there and they get it popping.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being that type of man to go out there and get that money. But if you're dealing with an honest Joe, and that honest Joe is working 2 jobs, and you still ain't happy with the funds that's coming in, then at the end of the day, then you about your money. You ain't about that love. Because at the end of the day, It has to be a respect level. It has to be an understanding. If you about that money and you feel as though you want to go deal with that drug nigga, that drug dealer nigga, then that's what you should go be with.
No, because if you are an honest man, but you can be an honest man and still be a hustler.
Yeah, you can be a hustler, but if you work, let's hypothetically say you're an honest man, you work 2 jobs. And them 2 jobs is you doing the best you can do with working in 2 jobs, right? And then you turn back around and the money ain't money in.
If you got 2 jobs and the money ain't money in, then you either on drugs or you gambling.
Not necessarily, because because at the end of the day, that means that woman is not living within our means. So you overcompensating for the things that she wants instead of the things that we need.
That doesn't take away from the fact that Troy, that doesn't take away from the fact that you are a hustler.
It doesn't take
you can
away
spend
from
up all the drug money too.
But it takes away the fact that the money that we supposed to be getting, the money that we getting ain't coming together because the stupid shit that she wanting money for. If you're dealing with a person that's a hustler, son, and you dealing with a drug dealer, you living beyond your means because that money gonna come back so quickly.
But you're in another sphere than what I'm talking about. I'm talking about whether you give the money to your woman that you make or not. It doesn't change the fact that you go and get it. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be hard. Now, hold on. Just listen. It's going to be hard for a woman who's used to dealing with men who number one go to work, bust their ass, make the money, and bring it home. Now it's going to be real hard for her to deal with somebody who don't go to work, who don't bring home the money, and who might be lazy. So, we're not talking about whether she is living beyond her means or not, because she got to get the money from you in order to do it. So the what we're talking about is your character. You either have a hustler's mentality, I know how we can make some money. I'll sell some socks. I'll sell some t-shirts. Hey, we gonna paint some mugs. Hey, I took a pottery class. Guess what? We about to sell some pot. You understand what I'm saying? It's a mentality. We're not talking about whether you're going to be ranked on your business acumen, not on whether it's enough. Because if you're a hustler, you're going to make enough eventually, because you're going to keep coming up with ideas on how to make money, and one of those ideas is going to pop. It may fizzle out, but you'll be on to the next one because you have a hustler's mentality, and the hustler's mentality does not stop. You know what I mean? It may not always work out the same way, but they always going to look for another way. When one flame starts to burn out, they lighten another one. Like, all right, well, that's all right. That one has run its course. We're about to do this over here. We're about to run over here. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not talking about, this conversation is not about you sharing that with you sharing your information of your ranking with who you're dealing with. We're not talking about that. We're talking about, in your mind, how are you going to be able to stay with somebody who is not up to par with your ranking system? You understand what I'm saying? So you don't share you don't share that negative information of a ranking system. That's gonna make you look like a fucking a heartless dummy. But in your mind, if you know that you need something, if your needs are in one direction and your needs are not being fulfilled, you're gonna start thinking about the times when they were. It's not necessary. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go back to that person, because there could have been other reasons that separated y'all and y'all not together. So let's get to that. Kim's Whims is on the line. What up, Kim? What's good?
Hey.
Oh shit.
How you feeling tonight?
How you doing, Miss Kills?
I'm all right. How are you?
We doing fine. I mean, for the past couple nights, you just said to hell with us, but it's okay.
Man, working on a project that has been kicking my behind. So,
All right.
that's it.
All right, cool. So, all right, on the strength of what we talking about tonight, what's good?
So I forgot what I was going to say. I started talking about so much other stuff. I forgot what I was going to say at the beginning. On this topic, one of the things I always wonder when this comes up in relationships and then it turns into an argument, my question for everyone is always, why does it matter? Why is that even on the table to discuss? Why is it, like, I just think it's ignorant and stupid for someone, and they just must be headed towards a relationship suicide for them to even ask questions about comparing themselves to someone else or wanting to be compared to anyone else in the relationship they're currently with. Like, how do you grow if you are putting yourself in a position to be compared to another, or asking the question, why even stir the pot of turmoil? Because that's what that is. Because someone's feelings are going to be hurt eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, because you can't, no one is hitting every mark. Like, you might have the best sex, but you might suck in another area. So you're not going to hit every mark in a relationship. So why do you want to know? And for me, I'm just one of those people, don't ask me something you don't want to know. And I'll do my best not to answer, but if you persist it, let's just break up now. Because your feelings are going to be hurt more than likely. Because it's just dumb. Because first I'm going to tell you it's stupid, and you're stupid for asking stupid questions. And then the next thing would be, do you want the truth? And once I ask that, you should already know, this is not going to go in your favor. So let's not do this. Nothing. There should be nothing any man asks me to compare himself to anyone from my past.
Mm.
Because that's going to be a problem. Unless he's asking me something that is really important, like, I just want to make sure I'm treating you better than, or I'm treating you the right way, or I'm not doing anything that someone else did that was a mistake that's going to harm us moving forward. Other than that, you should be asking me if your sex is better than somebody else's. You shouldn't be asking me, did he touch your hair better? You shouldn't be asking me dumb stuff like that. Because if you do, I can guarantee it is not going to go in your favor. Let's break up now. Because you're not going to like
it. Might be. Only time you're supposed to say something, you bring that up, if that person that you with is like on the top of the list.
How about
you the best?
No one can ever
hold on. Let me get this straight. I just spent 5 minutes getting Troy off of this shit, and then you come in and get right back on this shit. This is like I just got off of this roller coaster, right? And y'all put me right back on the line of great adventure to get right back on this shit. All right, I think it's dumb for a current love to ask you, if if they the best, or they got the biggest dick, or did they, did they make you squirt the best?
Why gotta be sex? Why can't it be the best at washing clothes?
Dudes don't care about shit else. Like, all they care about is do I make enough money, and am I fucking you the best? Ain't no dude gonna ask you, hey, am I smarter than your ex? Nobody give a fuck. Niggas is shallow. You know what I'm saying? They mad shallow. And you dealing with somebody that's young-minded when they think that they sex is gonna keep somebody. Like, yo, I'm gonna fuck my way into her good graces.
That's not even attractive. That's not an attractive quality for a man to have. It's just not.
But when you 22, 23, when you in your 20s, you actually think that shit. Like I'm gonna fuck her into submission and commitment.
I was a turn off in my 20s.
But women do the same shit.
I don't know, because I don't do that. I don't give a fuck about another bitch. For real, I don't. When I step into it, I'm the best. I'm the best of everything. When I come into it, I don't give a fuck about who your past is. I don't. As long as she's not in my face talking shit to me about nothing that we got going on, as long as you're not still bothering her, then we are good. That's it. I don't give a damn. I'm not comparing myself to nobody. Because I feel like when we get into it, I'm the best right here, today, this moment. I am.
Okay. So you the best compared to who?
Me. Tomorrow I'm going to be the best tomorrow than I was yesterday. That's just how I feel about it. Like, that's such a waste of energy and draining. It's just, God, that's a relationship killer. It's such a,
It is. All right, so let's move on. So you may still have rankings in your head. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like the tallest to the shortest, goddamn, whatever. It's still a ranking.
Yeah, in my head I do. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It don't have to be something. It don't have to be something so toxic or so divisive. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a ranking system.
Not old.
You know, how about this one? How about this one? I got a good one. Ranking your lovers by the ones who could kiss. How about that?
Oh yeah.
Huh? That's safe, right? Yeah. Maybe your current lover, maybe they can kiss a little bit. Like they aight. But you remember the times when, you know what I mean, your ex was like, now he might not have been shit except, outside of that, but he was like, so how about that, huh?
Don't we all have that? And don't we all have that internal ranking system? I mean, it doesn't go anywhere.
But you always want,
and that's
no
the
matter,
that's the
no
point.
Matter how good your relationship is, you always gonna have some type of internal ranking system, especially when you're on the mind. My mind play a lot of fucking shit with you, and you just be sitting there, and for some reason you just like, damn, I remember.
Then intrusive of thoughts, yeah.
What you say?
I said them intrusive thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, just keep that shit in your mind.
Okay. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. Y'all doing too much. Go back to the kissing thing. Have you ever been with somebody who couldn't kiss?
Yes.
All right. There you go. Have you ever been with somebody who couldn't grind?
Yes.
Now, that's a funny thing because you would think that you would think like, how could you fuck up grinding? Well, you can. You can.
You really can't fuck up grinding.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. No, you can. You can fuck up grinding. You can fuck up. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Bad hip motion. You know what I mean? No rhythm. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I've heard stories about niggas grinding like they pumping. Like, nigga, you got jeans on. What are you doing?
You're gonna get one hell of a. You're gonna get one hell of an Indian bird.
Understand measurement. Like a guy who is tall and he doesn't recognize that. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you gotta bend down. I can't get taller.
He's fucking your navel up.
Yeah, and that's when I'm uninterested, and I'll walk away. Like I will walk away.
Okay. All right. All right. This is good.
I have walked away before because what are you doing? I'm out.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. This is good. This is going well. All right. So what we got? We got kissers. We got grinders. How about ranking your exes in terms of them listening. Like you can have lovers that are really bad listeners. Bad listeners only listen to respond, or just bad listeners altogether. Huh? You ever been with a bad listener?
Yes.
Yeah, a bad listener will fuck your day up. Will fuck your days up consistently.
Yeah, I'm old for whatever on that.
Huh?
Okay,
I'm old for whatever on that.
I've had something like that. And it's just like, you know what? In your head, well, for me, in my head, I'm thinking, this motherfucker listens like so and so and so. And they both are assholes. And why am I repeating this situation with this dumb here? Like, did you hear what I said? Because I will. Did you hear what I said? What did you hear me say? What did you understand? That is the worst of the worst. Yes, I have right. And unfortunately, there is a pocket of those over here where I'm like, I will not be talking to him. Like, I have to have limited conversation. And it's just a little circle of them that I'm just like, no, I won't be talking to you. So, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right. See. So here we go. So, hold on a second. Ranking your exes in terms of.
They said this lady sounds like a notorious complainer.
I mean, that's somebody who doesn't know me, so why would I give a fuck what they say?
Listen. We answering. We ranking right now. Let's stay focused. Ranking your exes in terms of being considerate. When you dealing with somebody who is inconsiderate, never takes your feelings into consideration, or your time into consideration and shit like that. Shit is a pain in the ass.
That shit don't even have to be an ex.
What? Well, of course. Well, we talking about when you're with your current, but we're talking about you're going to be thinking about the exes that were considerate when you're dealing with somebody who's inconsiderate currently. No.
Yeah, let me just say this to you, right, son? What you got me doing right now is what old DJs do, digging in the crates, and that's what I'm doing right here. I'm digging in the crates right now, and I haven't pulled out a good record to what you saying, bro.
It's Throwback Thursday, my dude.
Yes,
I
I'm
mean,
digging in these crates,
digging the crates. I want
trying to pull the thought that you bringing up.
I want the LPs.
I haven't found a good listener.
I want the LPs, the 12 inches and the 45s. Let's do it.
Well, wait a minute. Am I misunderstanding here? So you're saying you haven't found anybody who's a good, anything you've asked, you haven't found anybody who's a good version of it? Because maybe I'm misunderstanding.
I found somebody that's a good kisser, good listener. I haven't really found good listeners, because when you listen, you understand. So therefore, you're not listening. Right? One hand goes with the other. And then when he said this, what he just said, no. That's
being considerate?
I'm in the batter's box right now, and we going to the ninth inning, and I just struck out the whole game with that one.
With the consideration thing?
Yeah, consideration.
Okay. Well, this is why we doing this.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, but even if you haven't been with anybody who was very considerate, there's still levels. There's still levels of, you know what I mean? You might be like, well, even though none of them have been considerate, at least this one was a little bit, you know what I mean? This one took my my thoughts, my feelings, or whatever into consideration a little bit. This one over here, like, damn, she was a devil in the flesh. So it's still a ranking system, you know, even though none of them might not deserve to be number one. Somebody got to win the Super Bowl. What up, White Lightning? And okay, just want to make Dr. Darnell. What's good, y'all? My man Buana. What up? But yeah, so all right. So Okay, consideration. Let's see. Here's a good one. Ranking your exes in terms of being a good parent.
Okay. Well, we good at that. Okay. Yeah.
Damn, Troy, you giving me vibes like you scared of what's going. What I'm going to ask next? Relax, son. Relax.
You keep out your mouth. I'm like, all right,
You gotta relax. You gotta chill. But yeah, you may have had exes, and you know when you with a family oriented type of person, you especially if you're a woman, you dealing with a man that looks for every opportunity to duck his responsibilities or want to play the role that he's a good father. He's one of those Christmas times graduations and
birthdays.
The photo op dad.
Yeah.
The photo op dad. We all know him. You know what I mean? And you also know when you dealing with a dude that will do anything for his kids. You know what I mean? Even, good, bad, or indifferent. Man that ran over that cop, ran over that cop because
You talking about when the cops killed his son, he went.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel him. It might not have been the right thing to do, but he taking that shit on the chin. Like, yo, you got mine, I got you.
Listen, man, that mental shit, that hurt, that pain. Hey, he got it out of him.
Did you see the look on his face?
No, he didn't get
the cops.
Yeah. Yo, I'm like, yo. I ain't never seen no shit.
He held his chin up high.
I believe that becoming a parent is the removal of all senses. That's how I look at being a parent.
Is the removal of what?
Is the removal of all senses.
He said of all senses.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Because when you become a parent, all bets are off. Nothing matters. If somebody harms your baby, your cub, nothing matters. Like the world comes to a halt.
Oh, you black out. Yeah.
If you are a decent parent, but you somewhere in your dating life as a man, you will come across some women that are not good parents. They are not good mothers. They talk a good game, but you know that they're not. And that may have an impact on whether you decide to still deal with them, and it may not. But and that's something you can rank. Like maybe Tasha wasn't really that good of a mom. She was one of those drop them off at Big Mama house, at my mom's house. She was one of them. Maybe
all men who are bad parents. I do. I don't. If I find out you're the father, I'm good. We're good.
Okay.
We cool.
Well, even if you dealt with everybody who took care of their parental responsibilities, there's still a ranking system.
Of course,
you know what I mean. There's still a ranking system. So
some are great dads, and some are fathers, and some are dads, and some are great dads.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a ranking system. You might have been dealing with Randy. Randy was like one of those. He might have been that education father. Like, yo, whatever I got to do, I'm gonna make sure these kids do well in school, and I'll get them in the schools that they need to be in, whether they private or public. You know what I'm saying? You might have been dealing with Rafiq, and Rafiq was one of them. First of all, he got too many goddamn kids. I mean, he hold it down, but the pie is cut. The pie is cut too many goddamn slices. Shit, that pizza got a lot of slices in it. You know what I mean? Like, if Rafiq could only have, if he only had like 4, it'd be all right. But he got a strong 10. He got a strong 10.
Strong 10.
Strong 10. Strong 10. Ain't got 2 kids by none of them. 10 baby moms. 10 baby moms strong.
Oh shit.
No.
Okay.
Then he gonna meet Kim and get Kim's pregnant.
He's not gonna meet Kim and get Kim nothing because he wouldn't have a chance with Kim. You got how many kids? Hey buddy, how you doing, bud? We good. You kidding me? Dude, don't even breathe near me. I'm out.
Well, hey, well that brings me to another category: honesty. You may have dealt with lovers that were very honest, and you may have dealt with those who first impulse was to lie about whatever.
Yeah.
Still a ranking system. And then you might have to look at the person that you're dealing with right now. Like, they might be salt and pepper. Little salt, little pepper. Ain't all salt, ain't all pepper. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a ranking system. Ranking your exes.
I like the way you got me ranking people in my head about normal, like a little bit after 3 in the morning too. I like that. I appreciate that.
All right, I got a fun one. Sense of humor. How about that one?
What is the big one?
Okay, good.
Like if you don't have a sense of humor, we're not going anywhere anyway.
Okay, now you can rank your exes.
I'm a firm believer. If you can make a woman giggle, you can make her ass jiggle.
Well, there's a certain amount of truth to that. We as comedians, we know that shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We know that. But the thing is, when you say sense of humor, there's still levels to that shit, because you may be dealing with somebody who's funny, or you may be dealing with somebody who play too fucking much.
There you go. Don't know when to let up.
Don't know when to let up. Don't know the right jokes to tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe does practical jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Or one of them might be sarcastic. With you don't know whether they telling a joke or just being truthful when they're being sarcastic. You know what I mean? You say something. I was just joking, knowing damn well she was serious.
That's not. I wouldn't even consider that to be a sense of humor.
Yeah.
That's not, being a wise ass. That's not a sense of humor.
Well, to some people, whether it's men or women, they look at that as they're not being a wise ass. You gotta explain to them that they are being a wise ass and why they're being a wise ass.
Listen, man.
Some people don't understand that.
But sometimes I'm not proud to say this, but it is what it is. There have been women.
I don't have a ranking system for that. A sense of humor. I don't have a ranking system for that.
Well, like when I say a ranking system for that, I'm saying like I said, you might be dealing with. Let's say all of your exes have had a sense of humor. Some of them might have laughed out loud. Some of them might have, been like one of them. You know what I mean? Some of them might have liked to go to comedy shows or watch comedy movies and things like that. Other ones may have actually told jokes, been the life of the party, that type of shit. Still a sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like they could see the humor in some things. Sometimes a sense of humor might rank low because I don't know if you've ever been around somebody who laughs at things that ain't really funny. Like that inappropriate time or wrong time type of sense of humor or funny person. Like, nah, this ain't that.
No, they all kind of in the same area. Like my close circle, we all kind of have the same sense of humor. So all the guys kind of have the same. They're the same kill on that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to deal with somebody who we don't share in the same space when it comes to that. Like we kind of are attracted to each other because of some of that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm sitting here thinking about it now, I'm like, I can't even say one is funnier than the other because like we all fit in that space together.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay. Fair enough.
yeah.
So like I said, the rankings are personal, but they are able to be ranked. You know, because you might have been dealing with somebody who really had a great sense of humor. Like they were funny, straight up and down funny, and they may have had good timing with their humor. And then you may have been dealing with somebody who had a good sense of humor, but it wasn't good at they timing might have been off. You know what I mean? Like, the type.
What about intelligence?
Huh?
What about intelligence? I think that's one.
Okay. You know what?
Why are you laughing?
I think because when you talk about intelligence, that's a slippery slope and that's a dangerous thing. You know what I mean? Because I think it's hard to rank the intelligence of your exes without it somehow applying to whoever you're dealing with currently. Especially if the one that you're dealing with is not in the top 3.
Yeah.
But if it's internal, why does it matter? It doesn't affect him. It just is what you know.
Yeah, but it's making but then you might come to the conclusion that you're dealing with a fucking dummy.
But when you know that before you start taking him on completely as somebody you're gonna deal with, like
they may have been smart enough to attract you, but
no.
I mean, it happens. It happens.
No.
Because
how would you know that they're not smart enough? You should know that prior to starting a relationship. Like, I'm not talking about just getting it in and hanging out, kicking it, nothing. I'm talking about before you get into this relationship, that's something you would already know. If they're a dummy and that's not what you go for, you're like, this is not a person I want to be in a relationship with. Like, especially at this age. You should. How do you not know that?
Well, you can't.
I just don't think anybody who's a dummy would be able to be smart enough to pull the wig over someone's eyes and they just get in a relationship. And then after you guys are deep in this relationship, a year later, you realize this is an idiot. No, unless you're Melania Trump, then I can see that. But other than that.
Well, wait a minute. So there are 2 men on this line. And I know that at least one of them has been fooled a time or two by a big set of juicy titties and a fat ass.
Well, maybe that's a difference.
So
maybe that's a difference.
And you ain't gonna tell me I'm the only one, even if I'm the only one on this line. I ain't the only one somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Now, like they might have been, they may have been smart enough to get in, but what your expectations may have been going in may not have been, what they were as you going forward. It's one thing to start a life with somebody or start a situation with somebody. It's another thing to look into the future and see if this person fits into the fold with you. So intelligence is really just learning ability. That's all intelligence is. It's not.
Well, it's not. Well, that's just one part of it. Well,
no. The actual definition of intelligence is learning ability. That's the actual definition. There's a difference between being smart and being intelligent. Intelligence is your ability to grasp concepts or to learn how to do something. When you have low intelligence, you do not learn how to do things. You just don't. You don't grasp the information. You don't retain it. When you're intelligent, you grasp it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to use it. So that's why I say that there's a difference between being smart and being intelligent. Because when you're smart, you actually take the information that you have learned and you learn how to apply it and even counteract other things that try to throw you off or fool you or whatever. That's what being smart is. So when I say, so that's why when Kim said ranking your exes by intelligence, you know what I mean? That's a because okay, it's sort of a dangerous rabbit hole to go down into, because somebody can be smart as hell to you, but because they make really bad decisions based on either their emotions or some other thing going on with them, they can seem like they not really that smart. Like some of those smart dummies that you know, those intelligent fucking assholes or really, really dummies that you know. So, you know how some people say, yeah, such and such is book smart, but they not street smart, or such and such is really street smart, but you know what I mean? Don't ask them to write a paragraph for you. You know, it's bigger than that, because intelligence is something that if you are attracted to intelligence, it's not going to have anything to do with whether they went to school or not. You're going to be able to talk to them because their intelligence allows them to grab on to what you're talking about and be able to relate, and y'all can actually have, you know, good conversations and you can figure out some things. So, you know, intelligence is that's a tough one. I would rather go with something a little bit easier, like sexiness. Sexy is different. It's one of those things. You can be pretty as hell and not be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can be ugly as hell and be sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
but you still got to have two things that you mentioned.
not necessarily, because I've known women who didn't have no fat ass, didn't have no titties. They may have had a walk. You know what I mean? They were still oozing sexiness. Like a lot of people considered like Grace Jones. Grace Jones was very sexy. Was she the prettiest? Hell no. Did she have a nice body? Not to me. But she had a sexiness about her. She had sex appeal like crazy. You know what I mean? The type of woman you wind up with, and you be like, how the fuck did I? Yeah, but I'm here. What up? You know, pull up to my bumper, baby, in an all black limousine. Dope song, yeah. But yeah, sexiness. It's one of those things. Have you ever been with a yo Troy and everybody in the chat, all the brothers in the chat? Have you ever been with a woman that was dumpy? Like a woman that didn't know how to walk? You know what I mean? Might have been pretty as hell, but she got hold on. Let me see if I can duplicate this shit. You know, like ain't have no sex appeal. That like who the fuck? What kind of woman walks like that? Like do. You know what I mean? Motherfucker face. You know, the face pretty as shit. You know, hair long, you know what I mean? Looking, but she ain't got no sex appeal. You know? Shit, big grandma shoes wearing ass bitch. What the fuck is you doing? You got a great team. You need better coaching. Somebody send this hoe to charm school. Teach her how to walk with her. Here, put this dictionary on your head and walk across the room. Nobody got no business walking with that dumpy ass walk.
Like she need on a fucking plane, like this look, like she need.
I know you know women like that.
It's like she need on
an older lady like that.
Well, I know a younger lady like that. Shit is pain in the ass.
Oh, come on.
Pretty ass face and absolutely no sex appeal. Pretty ass face and absolutely.
Somebody in your chat.
Oh, right, AIDS. All right. Hold on. Let me give him a chance. Let me give him a chance. Hold on, Quinn. Wait. Quinn throat goat for sure. Yo, I'm gonna have.
He must be related to Sexy Red.
Chill. Look, like Quinn, stop spamming, or I'm gonna have to zap you. If you don't mind being zapped, don't worry about it. But if you keep spamming, I'm gonna have to zap you. You can hang out, but you gotta chill. All right. Mia says, I know someone that walks like that, and she has had men of all ages fighting over her. Some of us though. Some of us thought she was gay, and
that's what I was just saying. She must wear a flannel shirt and a chain and come from the pocket.
Hey, look. Listen, everything.
Not necessarily. If a woman is raised by men sometimes, or she doesn't have a circle of feminine women around her, she does have a different way of carrying herself. It doesn't mean she's gay. It doesn't mean she doesn't like men. It just means she hasn't been taught how to be feminine. Like, that's not something people aren't just born like that. That is something you learn. That is something you're taught. That's something you see in other people. There are a lot of women on this planet, unfortunately, who are not feminine. I remember I had a neighbor, and when I first met her, I just always was like, she's got a boyfriend, a partner, they got 1,000 kids, but this bitch is the manliest chick I've ever met in my life. She had nothing about her. She's just the person you were talking about. She had a dumpy kind of just walk. She always wore her dress back and a ponytail. She always wore just a t-shirt and leggings, and she always wore these slides. Like, I never saw her doing anything feminine. But once she met, me and my cousins and the way we were, all of a sudden, like, we became the whores, according to her man, because we all wore makeup, we wore jewelry, we wore perfume, we were into Bath and Body Works and all the different girly stuff, perfume. And he's gonna go there to the whore's house. Well, I'm the whore you try to get with, so I don't know what to tell you, but it changed how she was when she started being around women who were feminine.
I don't think. Well, I know that sex appeal doesn't have anything to do with femininity necessarily. It's an energy that comes off, and just because
I didn't say that to him.
Oh no, I'm just saying. I'm also responding to Mia in the chat. Just because men are attracted to you doesn't mean that you're sexy. Sex appeal. It's like I said, it's an energy. It's a soul. It's an aura. It's not necessarily something that you can see here and well, you can see see it. You can hear it. Like, you can have a sexy ass voice. You know what I mean? It can mean different things to different people.
Confident.
Let me put it this way. Sexiness is not necessarily attractiveness, because some people can be sexy and it can really, be a turn off for some people because they can think that is whorish or something like that. And the reason that I say sexiness doesn't necessarily have anything to do with femininity is because men are sexy too. It's sex appeal. Now, but it's like everybody doesn't have it the same, but when you see it, when you're in the presence of it, you know it. You know what I mean? Most people can identify it. But when it's absent, you know it too. Like I said, I've known women that were very, very pretty, nice skin, hair, nails, and all that kind of shit. But they didn't have very much sex appeal. Like the sex appeal wasn't there. Now I'm trying to think of some people. You know what? I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm being real. I think Whoopi Goldberg has a lot of sex appeal now.
I knew you were going to say her. I knew you were going to say Whoopi.
Because she has really transformed, at least in my eyes. when Whoopi was in her 30s, 40s, no sex appeal. I ain't see what nobody saw in her. And it looked to me like she was doing everything in her power to not be sexy. I don't know. You know what I mean? Now, from what I understand, some people considered her even back then. Not me. Not me at all. Now, she's not a beauty queen, but she, you know, I appreciate her a whole lot more. You can see that she's done some transforming and not some fake shit. You know what I mean? It don't have nothing to do with losing weight or nothing like that. It has more to do with now, maybe she's at a point in her life where she's more relaxed, where she's more in control, and her sex appeal is coming out more. It wasn't there. Let me.
And on that same note, she's not one who's always had a lot of femininity about her as well. Like, so when I think femininity,
I think that she had a lot of insecurities too. I mean, regardless of anything, I mean, you play in a movie Color Purple and you getting people giving you feedback. It's just like the girl that played Precious. You played that part to a T, but you know, sometimes you're gonna get feedback after that part is over, and you still look like the person that.
Nah, but Whoopi didn't play. Hold. Whoopi didn't play in no ugly girl roles after The Color Purple. She still ain't had no sex appeal to me. You know,
but she also didn't have a lot of femininity about her. However, when you're talking about what's her name, Gabrielle Sidibe, the one who plays Pet Precious, outside of that movie, she's always been a very feminine woman.
Well, I mean, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that, you know, when you play certain parts that you play, you know, you can be a feminine woman and not be a looker. So, and that can create insecurities. So, you know, I mean, that's the part I'm saying. So when Son's saying that Whoopi Goldberg wasn't that type of person back in the day, she might have developed throughout the years some form of you know, confidence, you know, to walk that walk and be different. Because for you, I mean, when you look at Whoopi Goldberg, the first thing you think of is Color Purple, and the lady said, "You sure was ugly."
No, that's not the first thing I think about with Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, that's the first thing I think about.
She's been in a lot of movies, dog. Whoopi been in a lot of movies. And The Color Purple, it was not her biggest gross. It wasn't her biggest movie.
Sister Act was.
Yeah. Whoopi been in a lot of movies. You know what I mean? Her catalog, her resume is strong as fuck. So, but, you know, I just didn't consider her to have any sex appeal, you know, back then. But now I see it. I'm like, damn, look at this shit. Ugly Duckling done swanned up. I'm impressed.
You know what I think?
I am. I'm impressed. Shit, man. Look. I mean, there comes a time in everybody's life when you gotta improve yourself. You don't have to do it for me, but obviously she did it for something, because she is very much more TV attractive than she would have been 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Sega Sala says Whoopi and Precious like white boys, so I never see them as sex. And you know what? That was my biggest knock on it back in the day too. He said exactly what I didn't say. Like, hey, I was like, damn, what's up with Ted Danson? Like, yo, Whoopi got something going on under the hood. That's just some other shit.
Whoopi got some good Whoopi.
Whoopi, yo, I was like, hold on. Ted Danson was considered one of the most attractive white men in Hollywood. Yeah. And he was running around with Whoopi.
Said, sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yo, when she did that shit, what's that shit she did? She dressed up in blackface or some shit? No.
Yeah. No, he dressed up. Both of them.
She let him dress. Yeah. I was like, that was the Kanye and Candace Owens back. You know what I mean? They the ones got it popping first. I was like, man, fuck this shit. But anyway, I'm trying to. I've been here thinking of somebody else that may have been attractive, good looking, but still not sexy.
I can think of one for women. So my cousin has always thought Shabba Ranks was a very attractive man. He and Seal. She's always found something in those two that was just sexy and attractive, and I've always been like, what is happening here? However, one day I heard Seal speak at whatever it was he was speaking at, and for in that moment, I could see somewhat of what my cousin saw. Because there was something about him that was attractive. There was something about him that was sexy. And it could just be because he has a way of speaking. He has a kind, gentle mannerism about him. He speaks like someone who is very knowledgeable about life and things. And I could see that. And he was dressed very nice. He just was mild-mannered. I could see that.
Which one you talking about? Shabba or Seal?
Seal.
You talking about Seal?
Seal. I've never seen none of that in Shabba Ranks. I'm like, what are you talking about, lady? But all right.
All right. Yeah, I ain't never hear nobody say that Shabba Ranks was attractive or good looking.
She thought he was sexy. I didn't say attractive. She thought he was sexy.
Oh, I thought you said that she said he was attractive.
Yeah, she thought he was everything. I thought he was trash or whatever. Well, Denzel. I think Denzel's a nice looking man, but I don't find him attractive like that or sexy like that. But I think he's a nice looking man.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the opposite.
I know there are women who talk just like Will Smith. I just thought he was. I mean, back in the day, I guess he was cute, but I've never been like, ooh, Will Smith, or ooh, Alfonso Ribeiro, or any, nothing like that. But
Alfonso Ribeiro.
I know there are people who did, but
I've never heard nobody say Alfonso Ribeiro was sexy.
I never
heard that. Huh?
He thinks black women are hating on him because his wife is white. I'm like, sir, nobody was ever checking for you. I don't know any single woman in my circle or outside of my circle in any dimension. I've never heard anyone around me say, ooh, Alfonso. Ever. I'm
sure that they had. Look, he was on TV. Somebody said it. But
well, maybe somebody who did in the majority, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right. Ranking your exes in terms of how good of a friend they are. Like, seeing how good of a friend somebody is to others, or seeing what they mean to other people besides yourself, can have an impact on how you feel about a person. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes towards a person's character. And when a person is of good character, he has good support systems or whatever, and people really want to support whatever that they're doing or whatever, that, yeah, this is more than just a networking thing. You see how when you see how a person treats their friends, whether, if they are a real friend to their friends, or if they just use their friends for whatever their personal needs are, and are always ducking anything, okay. You know who your real friends are when you need them to move some furniture for you. Them Saturday mornings, man. You know what I mean? You know, if you can't get nobody, if you supposed to have all these great friends and all of that shit, but the only people coming through for you are your nephews, your male cousins, maybe your brothers. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. So a lot of times when people are good friends, they can make decent lovers too. And I don't mean lovers as far as the physical is concerned. I believe that all lovers should be friends also. So when you see, if you know you're dealing with somebody that shits on their friends all the time, you know what you're working with, right? Yeah. I mean, you can look the other way if you want, but like, okay. So everybody thinks that you're their friend, but you really don't give a fuck about none of them, huh? Okay. Yeah, you file that shit in the back of your head because that shit could very well apply to you.
In the back of your head, that should be in the forefront.
Yeah, but there are plenty of people who believe in separation. So they believe that one thing can be one thing and it has absolutely nothing to do with another thing. So they think that, he may lie to this person and that one. Okay, like the people who say that a man who's cheating will lie to his side. He'll lie to his woman. He'll lie to his main woman, but he won't lie to his side piece.
But isn't he lying to both of them, technically?
What do you mean technically? He's like actually. But my point is, there are people who wholeheartedly think, especially people on social media, they really believe that no, he's only going to lie to his main chick because the side chick already knows her place. So he don't need to lie to her. They have that mathematical logic. They don't understand that all logic is psychological. And psychological, it puts things together that don't fit. Like a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich. Like, wait, no jelly? No, we doing mayonnaise. That's how it is when you're dealing with people. You understand what I mean? It's
for the square. It's not going through a circle.
Exactly. And we'll rationalize like, yeah, this is how it really should be.
It belongs here.
I call this integration. This ain't nothing but gentrification right here. Circles and squares. I like it. The fuck out.
Circles and squares.
Circles. Yeah. Y'all should have. I did this show years back. Talk about moms defending their kids, especially they slow kids or whatever. And I did this skit about how the son he didn't know his ABCs. So he just did all of the letters, but they wasn't in order. So it was like C, B, A, B, G, F, Z, J, M, L, M, O, B, B. And the mom is like, see, fuck them letters going in order. It don't matter as long as he get all of the letters in during the song. But look, he doing that beat. Your child can't do that with no. Look. You hear the beat he made? He made the beat. Your child can't do this ABCs with a beat. He a genius. So It's the
supposed
same.
to ask her, you don't know your alphabet either, do you? That's the reason why.
She going to defend him regardless. She going to defend him regardless, and that's my whole point. That's my whole point. She's going to defend him, and just like she defended her son on that bullshit, she might defend her man on that bullshit. You know, because she don't want to see what's really there. She want to see what shows well, what presents itself well. She want to be able to get to sleep at night. So she doing it like that there. She doing it like that there. Let me see if I can find this. See if I can find this.
Bliss of ignorance.
Then there's that.
She don't want to tour him in ABCs like that. Because she didn't know.
She didn't know her.
Y'all gotta stop judging.
What?
Y'all way too judgy. You're very judgy. You're very judgy. Extremely judgy. Hold on. Alright, hold on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I found it, y'all. Hold on. I found it. All right, hold on. I'm gonna just get to the good part.
The name of the show is Enabling, Covering Up, and Defending. You enable your child. You don't wean your child off the titty by age 2. I'm going to give you 3. I don't want to, but I'm going to give you 3 because I don't want anybody to be, you don't tell nobody how to live their life. You have to live your own fucking life.
Oh,
anyway,
get to the important part.
Yeah. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Titties is subject to gravity. Child gets a nutritious food. Everything they do. So whether you breastfed them too long, or whether they carry a blanket, or they suck their thumb at the wrong problem and not taking the proper steps to
Hold on.
Miller says breast milk. Okay, so 7 and 8. You have to carry the one. You know what I mean by carry the one? Okay. So, okay. The fuck is you talking about? What is he doing?
Let me get it. Oh, hold on.
What is the thing? Because that shit is real of adults that you could trust to take disability. And I ain't trying to diss no kids, and I guess I really just did. But I don't mean to do it like that. They ain't watching this show anyway. It's gonna be alright. But you let your child be dumb and stupid and like, where they from? Yo, what's going on with the mom and the dad? Your shit is fucked up. You had one child, had one job, had one child, had one job, had one job, had one child, had one job, had one child. So now you covering up. No, ain't nothing wrong with my baby. He can read. She can read. No, he can't. No, she can't. You can't even memorize the ABCs. You know how when we was younger, first of all, the ABCs are in a song. That's what makes it so easy to remember. But some people, you know how when we was younger and we ain't like to do our homework, or we got a bad test a grade on a test, or we brought home a report card that was less than stellar, and our moms and our fathers or whatever would be like, you can memorize all the words to them songs, but you can't memorize your you can't learn your schoolwork or whatever. Well, you got a child that can't even memorize the ABCs. They be like A B C D E F B C D Z W X. It don't matter long as I got the melody. A B C U A B C. That's like A B C D A B C. It's like A B C D A B C. A B C D E F G G G elemental B. A B C D E F G.
For real, bro.
A B C D E F G. J K L M N B C. A B C A B. What the fuck are you? What's wrong with you, R. Kelly? What are you doing? Fantasia? They can't read. Well, Fantasia can read, but not good. R. Kelly can't read. Anyway, Shaniqua. Okay, all right. Shaniqua says breastfeed until at least 2, maybe 3. Oh, wait, slow down. Slow. Chill. Señorita salida, please. Señorita salida, please. What's going on?
Hold on, because I do it again. Hold on.
Hold up. Emily said, suck and suck, subtract, suck.
Hold on. This is in the archive. This was before, this was like 2018, 2019.
You done fucked your baby up. What a disgrace. What a that shit did what I call me a disgrace. That shit did what I call me a disgrace.
Wait a minute.
To the song, like, yo, you listen. Johnny, you gotta get them lyrics together. Wow, I like the beat. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah. What's up, Ramona Piccolo? How you doing, Ramona Piccolo? Thanks for coming through. You know what I mean? Yo. Be like, yo, the ABC song don't have no beat. That's it, do got a beat. And my baby memorized the beat. We can memorize the words later. When you don't know the words to all the songs, but I bet you know that beat. He got the beat. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, A, B, C. I said it. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, elemental A, B, C. I said A, B, C, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, C, B, E, G, B, G, D, elemental E.
How the fuck hate you? This shit gonna be in my head tomorrow morning. I know this gonna be in my head tomorrow morning.
Yo, your child gonna be a foster kid, baby. Your child gonna be a foster kid.
Throwback Thursday, baby. Throwback Thursday. If y'all want to see this video, what was this shit? It was called the ABC Beat Challenge song.
She know what it is.
This ain't 5 years ago, so that means it was really 6 years ago. This is 2019.
I'm saying, enabling, covering up, and defending.
We good, yeah. We good. A, B, C, D, E. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm doing it in the rank.
It was the only ex I remember that I was dealing with, right, though. It was this girl that had Tourette's. You know, and the best thing about her was her Tourette's because she would compliment me. At the times when I'm thinking, when I felt insecure, she would compliment me. You know what I mean?
With Tourette's.
Yeah, with her Tourette's.
Okay.
Like when we having sex, she's like, "You big motherfucker." I'm like, "Oh shit, damn, thank you, baby." That was part of the Tourette's.
That was part of it. Okay. It sounds very.
Handsome looking motherfucker. I said, "Thanks, baby."
It sounds very redeeming.
Yes, so her Tourette's was somewhat complimenting me. So I think that was the best one I had. Out of all of them I ever dealt with, it was the Tourette's woman. Between that and the deaf woman. Because the deaf woman, we had sex. I had to write her. I had to write to her like, "How you like this?" She would write back, "Oh, feel good."
Nigga, you up here doing your set. I know, you know what I mean? Get the fuck out of here with this shit.
I'm glad you remember that.
I'm like, the fuck? What are you talking?
That was funny as shit.
Speaking of set, how it go last night?
Oh, I did pretty good, man.
That's what's up.
Oh, shit. I walked in there. I walked in there last night, son. I said, I got off stage. Well, I got on the floor. And I said, I came in the door. Because I walked in there, and as soon as you hit the door, you seen nothing but the women you like. Everywhere. The chairs were sinking into the floor, son. The fucking chairs was sinking. I thought they turned into stools.
Okay. Well, I mean,
so I said, when I walked in this fucking door, I said, God, thank you so much for taking my rig and making all these beautiful fucking women. Clap it up for yourselves. And that was it. I went in, bro.
All right, that's what's up. Glad to hear that.
I didn't get to see that. How can we see that, Troy?
Well, I didn't tape it yesterday. So that was my first time on stage in almost 3 years. So when I go the next time I go out, next time I go and do something, I'm gonna tape it and I'll send it to Son and he'll show it on Throwback Thursdays.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right, y'all.
So
4 o'clock.
I know it's 4 o'clock, but I'm trying to get back in the rhythm of doing comedy again so I can get this depression out of me and get out and get. You remember my conversation from Sunday, so I'm trying to fight off these demons. So, but it's always a pleasure getting over here with my brother and my sister. Talking, having fun.
I sent y'all something too. Speaking of that, I sent y'all
Yeah. Troy don't be looking at his page. I got it though.
All right.
CPXF CPXF
ZOC
TR.
When I first heard that rock out shit at the end of when you be at the end of the damn show, I had that in my head for almost a month. Rock out and do the damn thing, and lock out. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker got this shit in my fucking head.
That's what it's there for. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. It's time to
Much
go.
love, y'all.
Have a good one, everybody.
Appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate it. As always.
The music show is tomorrow.
That's right. We be here at 1, not 2. 1 o'clock tomorrow, not 2 o'clock. Y'all be here.
You laughing because you know what I'm talking about.
Shit, everybody should know by now. If you didn't know,
you're gonna come in at 2:30, 2:59. So I forgot.
Blah, blah, blah. All right.
All right, y'all. We out.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace. All right, y'all. Let's do the ending results, the last results of this poll. 33 votes. Would you ever tell a current love that they weren't the best that you have ever had? 18% says no. I mean, yes. If they're not, they're not. 48% says no. What good could come of that? 9% says depends on if they got on my nerves. And 24% says I would never go there, period. I get it. Let's do these birthday shout outs. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 8th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number 1 out the box, my cuz. Milwaukee Stand Up. Yolanda Neal, known affectionately as Landa. Happy birthday. She's raising money for the American Kidney Fund. And also, Alatnu Alima El Bay. Happy birthday to you. And Takia Wilson. And Cherie Uniquely Me Singleton. Tez Hunter. Tiffany Blackgrove. Cece Jennings. Bertha Peters. Vanessa Macia Desir, and last but not least, Kim Clark. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all. And I hope that today finds you all a good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that goes out to each and every person out there born on this glorious. May 8th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud, just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on into the rock out, rock on and do the damn rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, we was ranking X's, and you see that sometimes you think back with the way that things used to be. Doesn't mean that you should try to find the same things that you really just left behind. Where you're at is probably where you should be, but sometimes you gotta make it where it should be and make it a little better. Gotta heat it up like a sweater in the 4th of July and ask why. Why are things the way they are? Why can't I be more like a comet instead of a star? Yo, I just want to be in the galaxy lighting up the sky, and I gotta ask myself why? Why can't I be a little better? Why can't I hook it up a little something? Like to the letter. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to keep trying. As long as I keep praying, I'm going to keep flying, and I'm not lying. I'm going to tell the truth, and you're going to see the results, and I'm going to show you the proof. And I sometimes act a little goofy. I make sure that you're going to see the best of me, but for the time being, I'm seeing the stars. Make sure that you understand my name is Omar, but I chose to call myself Sun 75. Man, I'm going to make sure that we all survive, but be living good, stakes every day. But here we got to watch out for that shit, because that shit causes a lot of, too much red meat. Anyway, peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. We will be back tomorrow night. Music show tomorrow night. 1 o'clock tomorrow night, y'all. Not 2 o'clock tomorrow night. Friday night, we do our thing at 1 a.m., not 2 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So make sure y'all come on through. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be hot. I don't know what the music topic is going to be tomorrow, but on Fridays, we talk about music and we have a whole lot of fun. I consider this show to be fun, too. It went a lot better than I really imagined, and that's a good look. Peace to Kim and Troy for coming through, and peace to all of y'all in the chat from A to Z. Appreciate y'all rocking with us on a regular basis. If you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you mash that thing. Mash it, hit it hard, but only hit it once. You know what I mean? And just make sure you turn it on, don't turn it off. So, it's a little bit after 4 o'clock. You either going to work or you going to bed. I'm going to bed. Let's get some rest. Peace, y'all.